Hey, so a lot of the times able-bodied people don't think about things that people with disabilities think about, like accessibility. So for example, a walker who takes the stairs up and down, they don't think of the accessibility issues that a person in a wheelchair thinks about. A blind or visually impaired person doesn't think about, a blind and visually impaired person thinks about accessibility issues they face versus a sighted person. So I'm glad that there's accessibility awareness, especially with Apple and Samsung, but there still are accessibility issues, especially with POS terminals. But at least there's accessibility designs when you're using an ATM. So that way people like myself will be able to plug in the earphones into the ATM. I can just use the ATM independently because it will talk to me. Houses are not built for wheelchair users, unfortunately. And so when people design houses, they don't think about that. We'll just put some stairs in, and then don't think about the issues that the people in wheelchairs face. Like for example, my parents' house unfortunately is not wheelchair accessible because there's stairs. And so if I had a friend who had a wheelchair, and I invited them over to my parents' house, there's no way they would be able to go up these stairs without struggling. Like the bathrooms in my condo apartment is they're not wheelchair accessible because they're too small for a wheelchair. And also, not all bathrooms are wheelchair accessible, although most are, but some aren't. And I think the more we spread disability awareness and the more accessibility issues that people with disabilities face are addressed, then I think we'll be able to solve these issues. Oh, excuse me, I just sneezed. And it's so important that we think about these things from the perspective of a person with a disability. It's important that websites are built so they're compatible with screen readers or magnification software or color contrast for the people with low vision. And unfortunately, a lot of phones aren't hearing aid compatible for people who are hearing impaired or deaf. Although iPhones are hearing aid compatible, so I'm not sure about Samsung because I've never been a Samsung user. I've always been an iPhone user ever since I got the iPhone 5. That's my first iPhone I've got. I've heard about those accessibility features in the iPhone when I was 19 years old. So the iPhone 3GS was the first iPhone with accessibility features. I didn't get my iPhone until I was 20 years old. So I was like first year university. That was back in 2013. Before that, I had flip phones. And with iPhones, I can do so much more with it than I did with a flip phone or dumb phone. It's allowed me to text independently. I can do so many things with it. Go on the internet. It's really cool. I'd like to see flip phones built with accessibility features. I think that would be great. Although texting on the flip phone was a pain in the butt, and it was very cumbersome and slow. So, yeah. I use VoiceOver when I text. So when I touch the key on the virtual keypad, it'll tell me what the letter is. When I let go, then I let go, then the letter gets typed, you know? So, because you can adjust it so you can touch type. So that's what I prefer to do. I think cash registers need to be built with accessibility features so that way blind and visually impaired people can be cashiers. And I think that would reduce the barriers that we face in the workforce. Because unfortunately, accessibility features are not in every product that we use and see today. And the unemployment rate of people with disabilities, especially the blind and visually impaired, is very, very high. It's 2022, and there still needs to be a lot of awareness about people with disabilities. I hope this video helps with putting yourself in the shoes of someone who has a disability. Share this with people. Share this with your employer. Share this with your school. Share this with anyone, especially parents, siblings, friends, etc., of someone who has a disability.